Alrighty then. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binary folks of all ages, welcome to Vancouver, BC. It is 9 o'clock on a Sunday night, and clearly that means we must be here and we must get the crochet done. Only 2 hours. Again, I only really stream for a very short length of time. So we have to get a move on. And today, children, what we are working on is the bottom edge of this enormous cardigan. Crowbar Scout, hello. Welcome, welcome. I believe that's what all the cool Twitch streamers say. Welcome, welcome. Hey, look at the thingies we're making. Isn't this going to be cute? Anyway, I put the hood on this cardigan. This is the hood that I made last week. I spent a significant portion of the last week, quite a bit of the last week, essentially crocheting the pieces that I thought would go to the bottom of this cardigan, and that turned out to be a huge mistake because I didn't have enough yarn. So now we are in the unfortunate position of having to frog quite a large chunk of work. But it's okay. In the meantime, I have been working and actually working on the edge of this. So, because, we problem solve around here, the things are going to happen, that's just the way it is when you decide you're going to freehand stuff, and you just got to roll with it. Anyway, I have a cardigan which is enormous, like I can't even get it all the way into frame. And we gotta use up the rest of whatever yarn we've got left. This is not all the yarn I've got left. I have one other skein and a half, which has been worked into a piece, which was supposed to go on the bottom of this, but I'm just going to have to frog the whole thing and put it down. I was going to do 2 large squares, and I didn't have enough yarn for 2 large squares of the appropriate size to actually fit onto the bottom of this. So we just have to, go with what we've got and just start working back and forth across the edge as best we can. And I am one of the rare few people who can do this successfully because, as you can see, this is, if I'll just spread it out here a bit, this here is the edge of the granny square. And you can see that around here, this seam, it changes and it's worked flat, okay? And if you know anything about crochet, you can think that this is not normal. And you would be correct. It is not. That's the underside. You can see obviously that it looks different. Granny squares are usually worked in the round. So you may be asking, Cypher, how is it that you've done this magic? How have you done this simply working it down here? Did you just work it straight and then cut it off? No. That is not how we work. What we do is this is the subject of this particular stream title, which is we work left-handed, and we simply turn it around and go back the other way. And we do it with the stitches facing their correct direction, so that it actually looks as if we are doing it essentially in the style of knitting where there's a right side and a wrong side. So I can do this, and it's going to be weird. I'm just, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Not a lot of people can do this. It's just you got to be able to work both left and right-handed in order to make it go. And I tooled around a little bit to try and get the edges working, and you can see that I've done like a reasonably good job. This is the seam here, and all I did was started crocheting essentially across the bottom edge of this particular granny square, granny hexagon, whatever you want to call it. And that is the edge that I've got here. It is not like, you can see that that's the top here and it changes slightly because this essentially is a top and this turns into a side. It's not an exact science. It's going to be good enough, which is really all we're asking for at this point. Where is the yarn gone? Oh God. There we go. Oh. As you can see, I have already cracked open the bubbly. Today we are doing something a little different. I've got the lime bubbly, probably my least favourite flavour, but yeah. You are a magical crochet fairy. I will take that title. Thank you. Ooh. Shanna, I'm not going to get that name right. Okay. Oh God, yeah, I'm caught. You see, I may be a magical crochet fairy, but my yarn still gets caught on literally everything because it's out of the yarn bowl. I have a strawberry bully. Excellent. Good person yourself. Enjoy. So, I'm going to show you some fun stuff, assuming that I can do this without splitting the yarn, because although I can work in just about any direction, the problem I have with this yarn remains the same. It will split if you look at it funny. It is not quite as bad as what has now come to be called the hate fibre, which I have since banished and will probably never return. I can hope. I still haven't quite worked out what's going to be a good time or place to sacrifice it to the great gods of yarn, or possibly to Cthulhu. You know, I haven't made a strict decision in that way. What am I doing here? Let's just, yeah, there we go. So I haven't made a strict kind of decision in that respect yet. I will have to sacrifice it to some greater entity. It was probably going to be Cthulhu. It may be sacrificed to the gods of yarn. I don't know yet. The most important thing is that it will have to be done by fire, because we really need to make sure that it's dead. And I have to do it someplace where my neighbours won't try and sacrifice me to the great gods of Cthulhu. You know, I don't want to get into trouble with you know, just for lighting things on fire in my general area, because that is a distinct possibility. You know, we got to be careful. We got to be respectful in our witchcraft sacrifices, whatever we're going to call it. I don't entirely know at this point. Anyway, we're at the edge of a row here, okay? Edge of the row, okay? And I need to basically finish this particular edge here. And the way that I figured the best way to do that is do a single chain and then do one last double crochet into essentially the very edge, if you will work with me, piece of crap. And that kind of finishes it right there. Then chain up 2, and now we switch hands and continue back the way. And I'm essentially just going to do a cluster of 3 here, and I've got the first one. Obviously the first chain up is going to be the first one, so I only need to do 2 in this gap. And you can see straight away that my dexterity with my left hand is just not, it's not great, let's say. I have quite a bit more experience with my right, and I've actually spent most of today, believe it or not, just practicing my left-handed crochet, just because like I feel that like I really do need to get more, like I need to work on the smoothness and essentially dexterity. You know, the like you have to kind of work through the movements and make sure that you understand them. Like, I find that the best way to teach crochet is if you can essentially think your way through each movement and the purpose of it in order to construct a stitch or to simply move the hook. And you can know stuff by muscle memory and kind of get a sense of like how to make this go with your other hand or whatever, but like you do have to think carefully about it, because you won't be able to explain it to someone unless you know it yourself. And of course, the only way to really get better at something is just if you practice it constantly. But like there we go. I'm just not quite there yet. I drop the yarn a bit more than I would like. And this yarn, in fairness, does me absolutely no favours. Which, there's nothing really we can do about that. It's fine, it's whatever it's going to be. But I have seen quite a bit, I like to think I've seen a bit of improvement. Like, it's more a matter of just kind of picking it up and getting a better sense of it, and kind of getting into the flow where you're essentially working stitches and not like losing tension, not splitting the yarn, just working where you can. Now, a few things that I've been practicing with left-handed crochet is essentially methods of doing it so that I can either hold one wrist or the other wrist entirely still, or as still as possible. Because you can see when I'm doing it like, I've not got that right, when I'm doing it like this, most of the action is in my left wrist. And obviously if you've damaged your left wrist or something's gone wrong with your left wrist, then that is an issue for you. So you have to sit down and think your way through this. It's like, well, what are you going to do, you know? So you stop, take a look at where you have it, and at this point you now use your right hand and move the piece and avoid moving the left wrist, and do all the work just by moving the piece around the hook. And this takes quite a bit of just pure kind of concentration, which is why I'm talking rather slowly. See, yeah, no, I've caught it there. If I were doing this with my right hand, I wouldn't be splitting the yarn, and I'd be talking a mile a minute. As it is, I can only talk about a mile every 5 minutes. But this is simply one of the things you got to consider. when you want to start teaching, well, I mean, what I think is that when you want to start teaching crochet, you have to consider things like mobility and how can we adjust so that someone with mobility issues will be able to execute what we're trying to do, to try and make the action work. Or, you know, if you simply just have pains in your hands, knowing the technique so that you can avoid giving yourself repetitive strain injury is probably a good thing. Because if you find your fingers starting to get buggered up, you can simply just change your technique or adjust it very slightly and you'll still be able to work. This is important. These are important things, important considerations, you know. Now, another fun fact, I did my second crochet lesson ever yesterday. And this was with an older woman who also knitted, but she was retired. You know, she knitted but she was retired. She had plenty of time basically, and she always wanted to learn crochet. And I found that she picked up the basics of tension very quickly, and because she already knitted and she learned, she already knew continental style knitting. So I thought, great, that's fine. You're already right-handed. We'll just teach you traditional crochet, and we'll teach you with your right hand. And she snapped into that very quickly. Her tension was very consistent. Shows then that that's essentially how well someone who has prior experience with like a slightly related but not entirely similar fibre art, it does make a difference. Simply having knowledge of tension, how to handle yarn, it makes a difference in actually picking up something like crochet. And this is not to say that crochet is like a difficult subject. Frankly, I don't think it is. I think knitting is quite a bit more difficult. It's quite simple to knock it out when you're starting out. It is, I think, quite a bit more difficult to master. So the learning curve looks like a slightly different shape with knitting. The learning curve for crochet is basically a gentle slope until you get to the higher levels of it, and then it's practically vertical. Knitting has a far more gentle kind of a slope, but it goes quite a bit farther, and it has several large spiky pits with blades and other nasties in them. And if you fall into it, you'll suddenly find that everything will go completely sideways, and your stuff will look like rubbish. But you know, that's neither here nor there. We just continue on. It's fine. No, what I found with this particular student, and it's weird, I have to say, saying something like, "Oh yeah, you have a student now." I found it very interesting that she picked up the basic stuff very quickly, and got to doing like something as simple as like just doing basic flat rows. She picked that thing up very quickly, doing the individual stitches. Absolutely, very, very simple. She did a great job with that. But the thing that really kind of kicked her ass was like, I decided that, you know, she seems okay. I'll try and show her something a little bit more advanced. And she expressed an interest in doing patterns and like for shawls and blankets. And I brought along one of my corner to corner blankets and thought, you know, this is something reasonably simple. It's a triangular shape. You could do it as a shawl or a blanket, you know. And I demonstrated it with her, and she was completely baffled by it. And I found myself second guessing myself, like I did not think it was that complicated, corner to corner crochet. But apparently so. She said afterwards, you know, that she'd gotten great enjoyment out of the lesson. She thought I did very well, but I was going rather fast. She also suggested you may want to give people, like, show them something and then give them homework. And I don't know how I feel about someone actually asking me for homework. That seems just remarkably strange. I'm not going to lie. It just, I hated homework when I was a kid, and someone actually actively asking for it just seems a little bit weird. I recently learned to embroider and already know how to do cross stitch, so somebody found that they're a transferable piece of knowledge. Exactly. Fibre arts are not that different a skill. I've even found that there's a lot of things that I learned I was taught how to sew by my mother when I was a kid. Believe it or not, for some reason, me coming from rural Ireland, I had a complete education in like what I would call the domestic arts before I ever started learning them in school. And oh boy, did you ever learn them in school? Because I went to an upper class all girls Catholic school that also did all of their subjects through Irish. Scoil an Gaelach, if any of you are actually Irish and care. And I got a very, what I would consider to be an excellent schooling for a solid like 6 years between the ages of 12 and 18. And part of that included being taught home economics. And that included sewing, using a machine, using the machine, all this kind of thing. And I went into that feeling very proud of myself because I knew how to do it from my mum teaching me years before. But, yes, I found things that I learned from sewing that transferred almost intact to crochet and to knitting, especially when it comes to actually piecing things together or working out ways to finish or to seam together pieces. It just seemed to come together very naturally for me because I had that experience already. And funnily enough, I have done embroidery as well. I did that significantly when I was in school too, because again, Ireland's a funny place and it seems to think that girls absolutely must have all of these weird archaic skills in order to succeed in life. And, the joke may be on me because if I actually make a living from doing this, turns out that, hell yeah, those skills actually were useful. Who knew? There's so much yarn here. I can't even describe. This is poundage of yarn. The whole cardigan is incredibly heavy. So I did a thing and I got a command set up. Let's just, hang on. No, just type with the, okay. Socials. Bonk. Does that work? There we go. The thing does, yeah. So I did actually have a space in between the website and the Instagram stuff, but apparently, no, it's just not going to fucking, well, okay. Apparently we can't format anything we put into Stream Elements because it's a dick. I don't know. We're just going to, you know what, we're just going to continue. We're just going to continue. Because, let's be honest here, we also do crochet for the sake of keeping our mental state under control at this point. And I do need quite a bit more practice at the left-handed stuff. Now, I want to remind everyone as well. Oh, it is handy to know how to make seam. Yes, it is. Very, very handy. Being practically minded definitely makes a difference. Is it veering into slanket territory? I have no idea what a slanket is, so I'm afraid to ask. But if you can explain what it is, I will absolutely confirm or deny. Wait, is that like a sweater blanket? Is that a sweater blanket? A blanket with sleeves. Blanket. No, I don't have enough yarn for that. Okay. No, okay, so no, I get what you mean. No, I don't have enough yarn for that. I wish I did, that would kind of be interesting. But no, I prefer my blankets to be actually blanket shapes and not have sleeves in them because things with sleeves should not be so long that you can hide under them. Unless it's a dressing gown. They get a pass. Not sweaters though, that's not fair. God damn it, come on. Behaviour. Also, hi Matthew. Sorry. Should probably have said, hi, hello, how you doing? Hope you're having a good night. Hope Coquitlam's all right. Oh, I mean, did you see the rain lately? Holy shit, like I was out in that. I was in New West today, okay? Oh god, I got a story to tell you guys. But yeah, I was out in New West today, and the rain, it was unreal. And I was out in that and getting absolutely frozen. Just, oh god, it was so fucking cold. Like, I was okay for a little bit, but then it got so wet and cold that I stopped being able to feel my hands, and I was like, shit. Okay, it's bad weather to be actually out in, so maybe I should just head back to the car and just hide in there for a while. God. Right? I don't even think it's actually raining right here in Vancouver right now. It was absolutely miserable earlier. Finally figured out how to twitch it. Knitchery. If that is a combination of knitting and witchery, I just want you to know that I'm absolutely on board with it. Thank you very much. And thank you for following. I did see that. Yes, hello, welcome. We're doing left-handed crochet. We'll swap back to right-handed in a minute. I don't know if you care or not. But there will be multiple hands involved in the crocheting tonight. I do actually, yeah, here we go. Let's just get that out of the way here. Fabulous. Everyone but me has like a decent username. My username is just like some fucking rubbish I made up because I wanted to play computer games. And then I joined Twitch and I thought it was just for computer games. And I ended up using the handle that I used when I was playing computer games. And and now it's fucking meaningless. And then I started streaming. Everyone will just see it and say, oh yeah, Cypher Lab. But like, what the fuck does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. I was using it when I was playing, I don't know, when I was playing Gears of War online back in, wait, hang on, like 5 or 6 years ago? I don't know. Ages ago, feels like. I used to play a lot of the ye oldie computer gamies, and when I did so, that was when I came up with this stupid handle, and now it's stuck and I can't change it. Frankly, I don't want to because I kind of like the way that nobody can pronounce it, or at least everyone comes up with like a million different pronunciations, and I love all of them. It's like everybody's got a different name for me, and it's somehow that I find that amusing. Anyway, what we're actually doing here, if you've just arrived, this is a granny square blanket with a hood in it, and I'm using up the last of the yarn to basically extend the bottom edge of it, because the way it was constructed, it was with a pair of granny square hexagons. The way you folded them in half, essentially a certain way. I was following a pattern by Passio Knits, if you want to actually look that up. Fantastic streamer. Highly, highly recommend. She is an absolute legend when it comes to actually crocheting for speed and crocheting without looking. And I have sat down and analysed her technique on stream several times, trying to just kind of basically look very carefully as to how she does it and what are her specific movements, because I want to be able to crochet that quickly. She does it right-handed, which is phenomenal. But she has a particular way of doing it which I cannot quite master. I can get almost to her speed with my right hand, but I will run the risk of splitting the yarn every 5 seconds, which is just basically, that's just how that rolls. You know, you go for speed or you go for like, you know, grabbing precision. And I think it would take a lot of experience to get up to her level there. But anyway, used one of her patterns, created this particular granny square cardigan hexagon. So doing these two hexagons and folding them in half produces what, like, because of the way that the hexagon is constructed, it produces an L-shaped pattern. So you basically fold it into an L, seam the top edge, and it becomes like one half of a cardigan. Then you sew the two halves together and you get yourself a cardigan. And after I did that, I basically extended the sleeves and then started extending the bottom edge of the cardigan itself to kind of make it a little bigger. And I still had yarn left over, so okay, you know, what else can we do? And I said, okay, I'm going to make a hood. And I still had yarn left over, and then I said, okay, fuck this. I'm just going to throw every last bit I have at the bottom edge and see if I can get enough to extend it as far as possible, because it was quite short, you know. I thought, you know, maybe I'll get it down as far as like my knees or something like that. No, couldn't quite manage that, because I was intending to do it with a pair of very large, just plain granny squares, but I started one of them, realised I wasn't going to have enough yarn to finish the two, because yarn chicken can fuck you every direction. And then finally said, okay, to hell with this, we're just going to work back and forth using left and right-handed crochet in order to keep the rows looking consistent. And we're just going to, you know, it'll give us a chance to practice left-handed crochet, you know, it'll be fine. And lo and behold, it's worked out quite well. You can't, from the back here, like, just from here, you can't quite tell. Like, it's kind of obvious to me. About there is basically where it becomes, like, from here, at this point, it's now left and right-handed alternating rows here, but this is all with my right hand. And it's just it's much more difficult to see. And you can see when you turn it over, like, this is the back side of it. It's like it's kind of the same deal. It's much harder to see. It's like this actually has a legitimate right side and a wrong side. And unless you know what to look for specifically, it's not obvious where the left-handed rows are. It's just like, this is really, who am I kidding? This is really just for flexing. This is because I can do crochet with my left or my right hand. I could do almost every style you've ever heard of with my right hand. And I like exploring different ways to make use of those skills. Basically just to see if I can at this point. because I know just there are very few people that do it with both hands. So I figure like, I want to see what kind of mad shit can we get into if you can crochet with both hands, you know? Or if you can crochet, if you can do all kinds of, what kind of strange stuff can we get away with? Like during the week, no spoilers by the way, during the week, I started working on a sort of, I don't want to call it a super secret project, okay, because it's not really that secret, right? It involves drilling, rather more drilling than what I'm used to when it comes to doing crochet, which is why it's not on stream today, by the way. And I've split the yarn again. Good job, me. Anyway, I just thought, I'm going to try this thing, and I have an idea of it might work. And there was drilling and wood involved, and then I got started on it. I thought, this actually could work. This actually could work, and if it can work, oh boy, we're going to have some fun with it because it means more drilling, basically. And who am I kidding? I like the woodwork. Yeah, I don't know anything about woodwork. I just think, why not? Let's just do more of it, and let's combine it with crochet in bizarre ways. Because I'm always looking for interesting ways to combine crochet with other crafts or other random things. And one of the things I quite like is like, well, if you take crochet and let's say you do crochet with wire, or do something similar to the woman who knitted a fence. And I wish I was making that up because it sounds crazy and also awesome, but no. Woman literally knitted a fence, a wire fence, using, I don't know, some kind of flexible electrical cord or something like that. Hey, I never got the notification. Hey, Dead Chrome, how's it going? I don't know, man. Like, Twitch is weird. I haven't been getting notifications all week. I don't know if that's my settings or something else going on. It's stupid. I haven't gotten any notifications from you all week for what it's worth. And I was actually trying to keep an eye out, and I usually check files and stuff. Are you actually going to be starting to stream again? Like, is like your PC working and stuff? Like, tell me so, and I will keep I'll hope to God that Twitch isn't going to be a bitch and just not give me notifications. You don't worry, say a week or two because I got to start. Oh yeah, okay. Well, whatever. I'll be watching anyway. Don't worry about that. I shall keep an eye out. Exciting developments, children. Exciting developments. I can message you. Well, yeah. I mean, look if I'm around, if I spot it, I will definitely come on and just say hi and just see how you're doing. I want to see more of Satisfactory. I like that. God, it looks like an alien planet. The ones where you're being chased by I don't know, mutant rats or something. That just looked like fun. I want to see. I don't know. I want to see more of that. It had very much like a Subnautica feel to it. I think it would be cool. So I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, I literally saw this the most awesome thing ever. There's literally this woman who decided to knit a fence, and I'm like, I want to be that extra. I think that if you're gonna just like push the boat out and see what's actually possible with fiber arts, go big or go home. But apparently she did it using some kind of electrical wire, just thick electrical wire, and she used needles made out of curtain rails that she had made herself, like literally out of wooden curtain rails. And like just you got to respect that. You got to respect the flex. It's just the kind of mad stuff that I think people should get more credit for. But yeah, no, I want to see if I can do like some big freestanding structures using like wires. I've seen people doing like crochet like wire, and they create things like 3D images, like 3D pieces, like organs, like human organs or something. I think that was an art project that somebody was doing. And frankly, I think that's just thinking a bit too small, because it's not all the same color wire. It's just this plain grey, whatchamacallit, see-through, whatever. And I'm just like, just go nuts with it. Why so plain? You have already crossed the Rubicon here and decided to go crazy. You're trying to crochet stuff out of stiff wire. I mean, at that point, you don't need to hold back here, man. You just go for it. Go crazy. Do all kinds of, like, add fucking sparkles and gemstones and shit. Like, I don't know. I might stream Power Wash Simulator. Oh, dude, that game is so satisfying. I love it. I don't have a PC that can run anything, okay? But that game was built for OCD idiots like me. I'm not even gonna lie. Just found a little lace fence. Yes. Oh. I love it. I want to do something like that. She knitted a fence. Can you? Lol, I'm going crazy with my streets that I thought you were talking about. No. Look, Deadcrumb. Unless you're gonna start like, unless you're gonna start doing crochet with like wire and and creating human organs, then like there's, I mean, just to be clear, I'm absolutely going to watch that if you do, okay? But it would just be a weird coincidence. I have enough yarn to knit a house and a fence. So I'm not saying not to do it. No, I think you should. I think you should, just to see if it's possible. Because I always want to see, like, is it possible? Practically all of my terrible, terrible crochet decisions are just like, it's either like, ooh, what does this do? Or it seemed like a good idea at the time. Because that's just how I roll. It's just like, it's literally like, experiment with everything. Try shit just to see if it'll work, and if it doesn't work, well, what's the worst that can happen? You've wasted your own time, And if you knock it out of the park, at least you made something interesting, which you can then farm for imaginary internet points by putting it on all the social medias and spamming it on the TikToks and all that stuff. And oh god, TikTok is another thing. I have a TikTok account. I still can't figure out how to take actual video to put on it. I think I've gotten one video that my husband took of me diving off, like, it's literally diving onto my bed when it was covered in yarn, just to prove that I could actually sleep in a bed of yarn if I felt like it, because that's how much yarn I've got, even though I have a small apartment. But like, that is literally the only video I've managed to take that I can put up on TikTok. Nothing else has worked, because I keep forgetting, that like I should film vertically, because that's how TikTok works, and because I'm doing landscapes so on. Yeah. You just that's just how we go. Whatever. I will figure it out eventually. I'm not so much of an old that I can't make the social media go. It's just like I need time to kind of just warm up to it. Because I mean TikTok is brilliant anyway. It's just that like every time I have my AirPods in and I'm trying to watch some stream or whatever on Twitch on my iPad. And then suddenly something goes entirely sideways, and I'll be on TikTok scrolling, and suddenly shit goes sideways. You okay? You're right, Fred. Sorry. Minor interruption. Husband came in, had to pick up the AirPods, just as we were talking about the AirPods, in fact. Weird coincidence, speak of the devil, etc., etc. No. See, the problem with having like an iPhone that you watch TikTok on and an iPad that you watch Twitch on is that you can't really do both at the same time. I wish I could stop the AirPods from doing this, but no. They seem to think that whatever you're scrolling is like what you want to actually see. And it's like, no, dude, I want to listen to Twitch and I want to just kind of flick and watch stupid shit on TikTok. I don't need the sound on TikTok. Not really, because I'm just kind of browsing. I want to hear Twitch. It's a uniquely Apple first world problem, is what it is. So I probably can't complain that much, but I'm complaining about it anyway, because really, where else am I going to complain about that except here on my own stream while trying to do crochet without splitting the fucking yarn? Because we're just like that. I got my stream PC up and running today. I just can't install Windows. So we'll see you sometime next week then. Kind of expect that's going to be a long and involved affair. Apparently Windows 11 is absolute crap, so, don't go there if you can possibly manage it. Quick warning. Oh God, come on. Right. Come on. We're almost at the end of the row. Almost. And we're almost about to switch hands again. Oh, come on. Can we get to the end of the row without splitting the yarn? Apparently not quite. We'll get there because we always get there eventually, even if it hurts, but all right. End of the row. Here's the corner, all right? Now, single chain, double crochet into, around there, just the corner, the very edge. Who the fuck cares? It doesn't have to be perfect, you know? It doesn't have to be exact. We're not going... This shit's not an exact science, no matter what anyone tells you, okay? That is the edge. That's the finished corner bit. And at this point, whoop, turn it around. Right hand. And all we do is chain up and go back again. And in this little bit that we've done here, we do an extra 2 double crochets. And if I can do it without splitting the yarn, not always a guarantee because that corner just gets irritating. And then there you go. Now we just got to keep working. Come on. And the big question is, am I going to actually run out of this before the end of the stream? And do I have anything else to work on? Thankfully, yes, I do. I was prepared. Brought multiple projects to work on. Okay, now we're back working right hands. So all we got to do is go back the line. And basically back and forth like this, and on every row going right to left, you use your right hand without splitting the yarn. I don't know what it is. Every time I change hands, I end up kind of, it's like the fingers need to just be reminded which way they're working now. And I split the yarn. It's weird and consistent, and it's made me kind of wonder a bit about, is this a common thing if you switch hands when you're doing crochet, or is it just me? I don't know. I don't really have anybody I can ask, you know. I don't actually know anybody else who does this. I mean, in fairness, I don't know anyone else who does as many styles as I do anyway. I've looked, and crochet terminology being as fucking nebulous as it is, who the hell really knows? And there we go, did it again. Fuck's sake. There, all right. So here's a little fun tip for you. If you've just done a stitch, or you've just done a piece of a stitch, like say if I've just done a half of that double crochet, if you're like that, you know, you got 2 loops, and you're trying to work out whether the yarn is split, okay? You can always tell if your yarn is split if you pull it and the loop at the front does not move easily. You can see I can pull that and it'll pull out and pull in, and it moves very easily. Just there, that loop. That loop will always move very easily as long as the yarn is not split. When this very second it kind of catches and it does not move freely, you have split the yarn. And at that point you have to stop, reverse, and essentially pull back from the split and kind of go, like, I can feel, if you see that, pulling it, and pulling it, and pulling it, it's pulling that bit right there with it. It should move freely without that piece there, and I can see that the split's a tiny little loop. Hold on, let me just see if I can show you guys in the camera. It is this couple of fibers right here have caught, which means that essentially just have to undo that loop, pull it back. And you can even see there, that little loop, there's where it got caught, because this is kind of hairy yarn. And it's acrylic anyway, you know, it's not going to be fantastic, and it's not very tightly plied, who am I kidding? Like, this is Bernat satin, if I remember correctly. And it's not cheap, I don't think. It's like, it was a lot of reasonably good yarn that I got from a friend of mine's mother, who was apparently hoarding on. I can see I've done it again. I can tell every time, just from the tension, that some part of the yarn is caught and you have to fix the split. So I can caught there at the side. And then go back to this point. So at that point, there you go, the loop's going to be moving freely. You know it's not split, and you can continue safely. I think this is more of an experience thing more than anything else. Like, the other thing about this yarn is that, like, if you work too fast, it'll split. If you go in the wrong direction, or if you're not careful with it when you actually pull the stitch, you will split it. If you use a particular techniques, you can very easily split it as well. And, like, that is a fault of partly of the yarn and how I work it. It's possible for some of the people, I'd say, to work this and not split it at all, simply because their technique is correct for it. But, like, I've worked with, oh God, what was it? I worked with a viscose and cotton blend that was what I can only describe as absolute bullshit. And the actual fabric that it produced after, well, I was knitting in this case, it wasn't even crochet. I was not prepared to try and crochet that heap of nonsense. But I did knitting with it and found that it was just like, it was tricky, it was difficult, and like it was very easily to split, and it split like stupidly quick. It fell apart at a moment's notice. It was incredibly loosely plied. Like somebody made several terrible decisions like just creating this viscose cotton blend. It's like cotton is good and catches to itself, viscose is not and slides, and the two just kind of delaminated in a heartbeat because they were just not plied very well at all, and they just did not want to work. And in fairness, that was much worse than this yarn, but that was even from the knitting experience of actually doing it. It's like the yarn was just a pain in the bollocks, and I cannot imagine what it would have been like to actually crochet with it. But as a measure of just how bad I took the experience, I essentially swore off using any kind of viscose yarn ever again, especially stuff in blends after all that, because I essentially looked at it. Anytime I see any kind of viscose yarn in a store, the first thing that comes to mind is fuck all of that, and I walk away from it. There's so many other fibres that you can use that are A, not synthetic, and B, not bullshit. And I realised that actually I can't remember if viscose is synthetic or not. It may come from not plastic. I can't remember. Someone's going to call me on that. Maybe today. Who knows? We'll find out later. Anyway, do you guys want to hear the story from New West today? New West, by the way, is a place in Vancouver called New Westminster. If you have never been in the Greater Vancouver area, the city itself is called the City of Vancouver, but there are large boroughs all around it, which is essentially the suburbs. And you have Burnaby, Coquitlam, where Matthew's from, or Matthew is living right now. I don't know if he's actually from there. And you have Richmond down to the south. You've got Surrey, Langley out a little bit farther, and then you've also got Burnaby. Like, there's a whole area. And one of the areas down is to about the southeast from the main city of Vancouver itself is called New Westminster. Lovely area. Nice thrift stores, great fun. Viscose is a rayon. That's meaningless to me. I don't know enough about rayon either. Thank you for checking, however. I do appreciate it. Is that one that's actually made from wood fibres, and does that count as being synthetic or not? Is that no? No? I don't know. Made of cellulose? I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't really know. Anyway. Oh, for God, stay over there. Stay. Dickhead yarn. Anyway, so some of you may know that I am a big thrifter style person. I do a lot of, I do a lot of vintage resale. Mostly because I can't think of anything else to do with my time other than crochet all the things. And there's only so much crochet that I can do in a single day before I get really, really sick of it. And I don't want to get sick of it. I love my crochet. But anyway, I can't do it for hours. I do actually need to get out and about and, see the sun at some point, and not turn into a complete hermit and eventually a crazy cat lady. That wasn't rayon made as fake stuff. Wood fibre and synthetic. Whoop! That means that it's technically both ways, and we can all be correct in our own way. And that's the important thing. Anyway, so I'm a big thrifter. I like going out and I go to thrift stores. My big thing is vintage glassware because it's basically not marked. And if you want to find the good stuff, you need to be a weird obsessive like me and just spend hours accumulating a lot of very product-specific knowledge on what vintage glass looks like and how to consistently spot it in ye olde thrift stores like Value Village. Because Value Village are like dick bags, in fairness. And if they know what something is, they will absolutely price it unrealistically high and try and scalp as much money as possible out of it. And I've seen stuff at just the stupidest possible prices you can imagine. But that's not to say that they don't miss things, because they frequently do, especially if it's something that's not easily Googled. They do know some amount about vintage glassware. Like I've seen a fair bit of the big Amberina vases, swan glass vases, that kind of thing. But unfortunately, there's a lot of it that they know that they don't know enough. And they know that if they don't have the real thing, that they're not going to be able to sell it. It's just going to sit there. It's going to be a waste of their time. They're not going to be able to. They don't know what to do with it. So the interesting thing is, is that you can pick out the really good stuff from the vast, vast quantities of vintage glassware that gets given to Value Village every single day. Because about roughly 75% of everything that was made before, I don't know, I want to say 1990 for glassware, about 75% of it is going to be worthless, you know? It's going to be mass-produced, like cut glass, crystal, or whatever like that was super popular about the 70s, and that is probably never going to come back into style because there is just so much of it. And, you know, a lot of those really horrible, like, dark glass or olive green or avocado stuff, you know. And then just kind of the weirder things from, like, the 90s, you know, I've seen some of that kind of crap as well. It's just more clear glass, you know, like lead crystal a lot of the time that shows up in the late 80s, early 90s. But look, none of the stuff is really worth money. Nobody really wants it. It's not really in fashion. The stuff that is actually worth money is basically mid-century modern Scandinavian glass. That stuff sells like fucking gangbusters. And then the more interesting coloured glass, and I should probably specify, mid-century modern Scandinavian coloured glass will absolutely sell like fucking hotcakes if you see it. And Value Village know this and they tend to overprice it. However, they frequently miss the clear glass Scandinavian mid-century modern. Stuff by Itala, stuff by, what's their name, Homeguard. Homeguard didn't do as much clear glass, I don't think, but they constantly miss that as well. Then stuff by, so Itala's the Finnish one. Costa Boda, the other one, the Swedish one. Well, you know, a lot of the smaller glass as well. Another one is like Mats Jansson. There is a market for his stuff, and he's been doing work since the 70s. Anyway, look, long story short, I know a lot of weird shit about glass. And, you know, I'm good at picking out all this stuff that's really good. So, you know, I accumulate a large amount of crap that I eventually sell on Etsy. And the thing is that lately, the sales have not been great, and I've been accumulating a little bit too much stuff. And I blame this on myself. I was on Etsy, lost the Star Seller badge for March through my own stupidity, and ended up having to get it back again. But anyway, we're problem solving that as well. Don't worry about it. Anyway, well, the point is, long time getting back to this, is that I decided to go to a car boot sale in New West today. Now, for those of you who don't know what a car boot sale is, a boot refers to the trunk of the car if you live in Ireland or the UK. I am in fact Irish. And the car boot sale is a long-standing tradition in both Ireland and the UK, where basically people rock up to a field, pay a small entrance fee, and then start selling stuff out of the boot of their car. And it's done as a very casual thing. Everybody just kind of, you know, you can have a mix of like people who do it professionally and people who just do it as a laugh, and it's very much a social thing to do. You know, you go out to the local car boot sale, see what you can find. Maybe you'll find some really cool stuff for cheap. This is, it's a definite thing. It's like an activity to do on a Sunday. It's lovely. But you guys don't really have them here in North America. It's like not the same thing. People have like garage sales. Garage sales, not so much a thing if you live in the middle, and like if you live like, you know, first of all in the middle of nowhere in the country in Ireland, there's not going to, you'll have a garage, but, you know, are people going to come all the way out into the rural countryside just to buy your shit? No. Ireland is, no, rural Ireland is fucking remote. No one's going to do that. So if you live in the town, chances are you don't have a garage, because there's all they are tiny little townhouses that were built before common ownership of cars were a thing. Irish cities are small and cramped, and townhouses are tiny. Anyway, what this generally means is that if you want to actually sell a lot of your shit, you generally go and set up at a car sale, you know, car boot sale. And that was what me and my husband did when we were first coming over to Vancouver, before when we decided, you know what, we're going to move to the other side of the world for shits and giggles. That is basically what we did. We went to a car boot sale with our car, and we sold almost everything that we owned at the car boot sales. And, you know, we came to Canada with not much more that couldn't fit in like 2 suitcases, you know, the really essential stuff and nothing else. And it was great, you know, it all worked out for the best, which is the important thing. Anyway, the car boot sale that I went today was nothing like the grandeur of a car boot sale in Ireland. Which just really says something. This is a car boot sale as organised with a tiny little church in New West, who really were depending a lot on their congregation to get the word out. And some bright spark there put an ad up on Craigslist saying, "Hey, we're doing a car boot sale." And I was looking at this going like, seriously, this is a car boot sale? I thought, you know what, we'll humour them. We'll humour them. I've never seen a car boot sale in Vancouver before. This I got to see, kind of thing. So I loaded up the SUV with a selection of stuff that I could sell, you know, from my vast quantities of vintage stuff. And I took my friend Wild Nomad, who's finally moved in above me. Fun times indeed. I've got my best friend living in the apartment above me. Yay! Anyway, so the two of us basically got into my SUV, drove about half an hour, rocked up to this place, which is the parking lot of the church, and took us 10 minutes to find the place because their directions were bad and there was no signpost or signage up at all. These guys were not doing well. And the weather was shit. It was pissing rain all day. And like, we got there around 10 o'clock, you know, everyone I have to say was very friendly, but it was clear that they had no idea what they were doing. And I felt very bad for them. You know, they were expecting a lot more people. They were hoping that the congregation would turn up to support them. But nope, they got a whole bunch of cancellations because people basically saw the weather and decided, oh, no, we can't do this. Letting the side down, I tell you what. Because in Ireland, you could never cancel a car boot sale unless it was literally pelting rain, flooding. At that point, yes, you may pack up and go. But just a light drizzle or whatever, not a chance. It's like, that would be terrible. Ooh, New West has a massive communal garage sale in the Queen's Park area once a year. Oh, I didn't know this. I want to go to that. That sounds like a car boot sale that I would want to be at. I feel like these guys apparently are going to be, they're like, there was me and Wild Nomad. She's actually from the UK. She's from a lot of places, but she has British citizenship. She lived in the UK a long time. And the two of us had this wonderful chat with one of the administrators in the church. Basically, they were asking us, like, how should we run this? Because it hasn't worked this time. And we were trying to give them advice and whatever. Oh, it was the funniest thing in the world. I loved it. Anyway, like, I just like, hell yeah. Like, let's see if these guys get stuff going, because the parking lot was huge. If they got craft fairs or car boot sales going in there, oh yeah, we show up. That would be a whole lot of fun. And yes, I want to know when this is. I want to show up. It's going to be fun. I'll bring along all my craft stuff and sell it there. That's one of my hairs, apparently. Like, that sounds like fun. I want to do that. I want to do that. I'll drag everybody out to it. Load up my SUV with all the random craft stuff that I've made. Now, anyway, end result of the car boot sale is that we're there for about 2 hours. They didn't charge us the entry fee because they were like, well, really, what's the point? They had maybe 3 or 4 people there to sell stuff, and nobody showed up at all. They really got no, like, their advertising was very screwed up, apparently. Again, lovely people, just couldn't organize a piss up in a brewery, apparently. But maybe they'll get it right for next time, and if they get it right, you know, I'm absolutely going to show up. I'm going to show up and see how they're doing, and seeing if the weather's better. Like, will people turn out to support this church? Because it's just a tiny little church, and apparently they were raising money to fix the roof. And like, I just thought that is the most cliched thing I've ever heard in my entire life, and I love it. Anyway, the highlight of the whole day was when some drunk guy, and bear in mind, this is 10 o'clock in the morning. Like, this is not like crazy o'clock at night. No, this guy was either off his face on something or he was drunk. Okay, could not decide which. We were having quite an interesting discussion afterwards, trying to figure out exactly what was going on in the brain there. But he essentially started asking us for free stuff, and I was like, dude, this is how this works, right? You know how the whole exchange of money for goods things, like. And he said, oh, can I have this for free? Can I have that for free? And I'm like, dude, go, you see down there, okay? You see how this church is trying to raise money? Go make a donation to the church and I'll give you something for free. And is he going to do that? Hell no. Drunk guys, this guy was a dick as well as being drunk. Like, no. But the administrator lady who was talking to us about that was there as well, and she was very nice, but she was very good. Like, she absolutely stood her ground with this drunk guy who was getting in her face. Definitely knew how to deal with it. Yeah. And, it's like, we sold absolutely nothing because there wasn't enough people. We got very wet, very cold. And you see, all of my stuff is mostly glassware and ceramics, and it doesn't matter if it gets wet. It'll just dry off. Who cares, Like, all of that got, I had the little table out and everything, and I put it all up, and all that got, like, hilariously soaked. And all I could think was just like, fuck it. It happens. It's an experience. It's a learning experience. It's just like, it's a learning experience to them. And I'm glad that we could just see, we got out and we hung out together, and we knitted and crocheted while sitting in the back of my SUV basically sitting on the tailgate of my SUV with the door open, so we were just about sheltered from all the rain, basically talking shit, drinking coffee, and crocheting, and laughing between ourselves just how absurd the entire situation was. And we were there for about 2 hours. We left around lunchtime because we were like, okay, it's getting so heavy now that we're getting really, really cold. So let's just like continue. Let's say our goodbyes. And everyone was like, thanks so much for showing up. Maybe we'll see you next time. I'm like, absolutely, guys. We'll show up. It'll be fun. It'll be silly, but it'll be fun. And then we just kind of like, yep, okay, let's just go home. Let's go home and get some tea, coffee, and kind of like try to warm up a bit, because at that point, like, our hands were freezing cold. And like, I did not warm up, I'd say, for a solid like 2 hours afterwards. And this was after, by the way, I was up at 5 a.m. because my kid, my son, decided to puke his brains out. And I just absolutely accept that every once in a while this is just going to happen, because I signed up for this stuff when I decided to procreate. But like, it's still a bit much. At that point, I was running on just like an absolute shit ton of coffee, so I got home and ended up crashing. But it's like it was still fun, and it was still a positive day. And it's like, you can't expect everything to go right, but the most important thing is that you're having fun while doing it, you know. And I think it did have fun. It was like, we met a lot of very strange religious people who are very kind of like, they're doing their best, and that's, you can't ask for much more of people. They're just doing their best. And fun little trip in the morning, get outside, get rained on a bit, a little rain's good for you. Historically, it hasn't happened for 2 years for reasons. Oh yes, I wonder why. Hasn't happened for reasons. I wonder what those reasons are. Oh, we're almost at the end of another row here now. Fun times indeed. Now, I've done a lot of interesting craft stuff over the last week or so. And I'm still trying to figure out, like, when is going to be a good time for me to actually get on stream during the week as well. Because I feel bad that I can't essentially just like get on the stream more often, so that the people who are actually subscribed actually get their money's worth. Because I want them to, like, I'm always here on a Sunday night, but yeah, you gotta make the most of things. Like, there's no point getting head up about it, especially when it's raining. If you're gonna get depressed by the rain, you can't really be Irish, because you'd be depressed all the time. No one's got time for that. All right, we're gonna swap hands in a second. It's coming up, hopefully. Oh God, I hope it is. I hope it is. If it is, I'm absolutely going to be there. And I'm going to see if I can find someone to go halves with me on a table or something. I don't know. I just don't want to do it on my own. It's like more fun if I do it with people. Okay, let's start the next left-handed row. Time. I like your outlook. I've got to make the best of things. I'm essentially in a situation where the worst has already happened, and now I'm just kind of like, you know what? It's all going to be all right. Shit's already hit the fan. You might as well just look on the bright side from this point on. Have you looked at the Vancouver Flea Market? I have. I looked at it briefly for about 2 seconds a while ago, and I was a little intimidated by it, I gotta say. Because everyone says that the flea market is where you go to buy stolen goods. And I'm just like, do I really want to go and take a look at that? I don't know. Oh, I don't know what to expect if I even walk in there. I don't even know. Vancouver Flea Market. Like, I was even hoping there was something like antique malls or whatever around Vancouver that I could go visit, but it's not really a thing that we do here either. It's more, it's more of an American thing, I'm assuming, because there's at least not anywhere I can reach conveniently. Who knows, really? Everyone in Canada or in Ireland? I don't... Wait, what? Yeah, I missed that, so I'm sorry, I don't... You're going to have to remind me what this is. Like, say, so... Oh, for flea markets. No, I mean, just flea markets, I think they're... I don't really know if they are a thing in Ireland. I think there's... Or at least they're not quite the same thing. I know flea markets are a big thing in In Europe and the UK, I just don't remember seeing many of them around Ireland. It's mostly car boot sales. Because a car boot sale is very low effort. It's basically like someone organizes it and says, okay, everybody come to this field at like this time on this particular day, hopefully when it's not raining. And then we're just gonna go, you know, everyone starts selling all their crap, you know, usually under the counter kind of thing. Eastside Flea is more hipstery. I don't know what that is. But in fairness, there's a lot of stuff around Vancouver that I do not know. Vast quantities of things around Vancouver that I don't know. I'm on practically a first name basis with every Valley village around Vancouver. This does not, however, stop me from being a complete twit every once in a while, and that was how my car got towed last week, because I left it parked in the side, like the lane that becomes a no parking zone between 3 and 6 on during the weekdays, and that was outside the Valley Village on Hastings, and Muggins here totally forgot that it was not the weekend, and I had to go pay $144 to get my car out, and spent a while kicking myself. But the city of Vancouver essentially held my car hostage for all of like an hour and a half and made me pay them a chunk of money in order to get it back. And what was I going to do? Not get my car back? Not going to happen. I love my car. And I actually, now that my friend has finally moved in upstairs and doesn't need any more kind of stuff hauled around the place, I was super happy to say that I spent 2 hours deep cleaning my car, and it was the most cathartic thing I've done in about a month. It was just like there was, you know, cleaning down the dash and vacuuming up all the crud out of everything, and like all the stones, and just cleaning all the runners and everything like that, and cleaning all the kick marks from where my kids are kicking the back of the seats, and just like you don't know like how someone's OCD can get tortured when it's their vehicle, and all they can think about is just like I must clean this stuff up before I basically lose my mind, because the car, I can't enjoy the car, and I do like to drive, unless it's clean, unless it doesn't have to be sparkling clean. I'm not anal about it, but God, I just need to make sure that it's not full of crud. It is my happy place with the good sound system. No crud allowed in there. And I realised that by having children, I've essentially condemned myself to for there being crud in my car for at least the next, wait a minute, 4 years, at least the next 3 or 4 years. Yeah. Oh God, it's a thing. eastsideflea.com, market with 50 to 100 food trucks. Yes, sounds about right. If I could get a spot there, that would be fucking hilarious. It'd be like, hey, can I sell my crafty shit? Is that worth my while? That would be fun. I'd be like, can I find someone to do crafty shit with? And can they come and share like a stall or something like that? Because I don't know if I actually have enough crafty shit to sell right now. Unless it's like vintage shit. Do I have enough vintage shit to sell? Fucking absolutely. I have too much vintage shit. There's currently like several boxes of the stuff in my car, which I was just like extra inventory I was trying to get rid of. And boy, is there a lot of it. Half of it is up on Etsy. Oh, bugger. All right. I did not even notice. Holy shit. Okay. So, well, okay. That's where we're at with that. Can't do anything with that. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys the... I'll just pull that out a bit so it's not going to... Well, I mean, it may unravel anyway, but I don't really care that much. I'll just do it again. Okay. This is the huge fucking cardigan. This is just... It's so big. It's just... And it's getting longer, that's the thing. Like, it's just about a comfy length right now, but I'm going to use up all of it, I swear to God. Like, and... Oh my God. Wait, I'll just fix this. There's a bit that sticks up at the back that... Where is it? That little flippy bit. Yeah, like that. That needs to go down or else I start looking really stupid. I start looking like a hobbit. But, like, there's the back of it, and that bit. Like, I'm not even kidding. I took a picture of myself in this. Just look at the fucking headphones. It looks even funnier like that. Oh my god. I took a picture of myself in this thing, all right, and put it up on Instagram. Okay? And I was trying to keep a straight face because I think, you know, if I'm taking a picture of the stuff that I make, I should at least try and keep a straight face. And it's I couldn't. I essentially could not stop laughing for a solid 10 minutes while I was wearing that. And then I sent a picture to my family and they said, "Oh, it's Peg Sayers." And at that point I was like, fuck all you guys. Anyway, this is just, yeah, this is where we're at. Anyway, we've got other stuff to do. Let's do this. Always more. Is Etsy the only place where you flog glass? At the moment, yeah. I was doing it on eBay as well, but the fees are the fees are out of control on eBay for what it's worth, and I just was not getting a decent response. It's like for vintage stuff, it doesn't seem worthwhile. I don't even know. It's a pain in the ass. Oh, sponsorship update. Still nothing. I suspect I will be disappointed for many days to come. Oh, excuse me. All right. Here we go. Now, all right, here we go. This is corner to corner, all right? I personally fucking love corner to corner crochet. Like, it's just a thing. It brings me immense joy. I love the pattern. I love the way that it just, like, and especially these colors it just pleases me greatly. I don't know. Like, I have two corner to corner blankets. One of them is in all the warm colors and this one is in all the cool colors. So basically all the blues, the greens, greys, any kind of cool color is going into this one. And this is done with left-handed crochet. And then the other blanket is where all the warm colours going, which is like orange, browns, pinks, reds, that kind of thing, and yellows and all that. And that is done with right-handed crochet. So we're going to continue doing this for a bit. Just blah, blah, blah. Hello, did you make the sweater you're wearing? What stitch is that? This is called corner to corner crochet. Yes, I did make the sweater. I actually just got done working on it. Because the end of it still needs... It's actually fucking hot, I'll tell you what. Hold on. I'll try and hold it up to show you guys. It has a massive hood at the back. If I can pick it up now. It is just, there's so much fucking yarn going into this. It is such a heavy, heavy sweater. Like, there is so much yarn. That's like poundage of yarn. All right, it's going over there. Let's just... It's just going to be over there for a bit. Okay, yeah. So this is called corner to corner crochet. It is worked here from the corner and essentially works like adding diagonal rows of kind of thing. The reason it's called corner to corner is that you essentially you start here and eventually you'll get to a point where you start shaping the corner here and then you work basically as big as you want it to be before you start finishing off, and then you get to the opposite corner and then you're done. And this one is a scrap blanket, which means that it's just going to be as big as it needs to be until I run out of wool or interest or both, or yarn or interest or both. I'm not going to be specific about what wool I'm going to use on this. So the other one that I'm doing, the one that's right-handed crochet, I've been working on that one for a while and it's already almost as wide as my queen size bed. So I'm going to just continue until it's big enough to be a bedspread and then I'll just start working it up. Because that seems to just be how it's going. It's turning itself into a bedspread. This one, I don't know, but I think it would be kind of fun if it was also a bedspread. I never tried that. It looks pretty good. Look, it is essentially cool. I love the design of it. I have this idea of doing a corner to corner styled top. Something quite simple anyway, where like the actual top itself would be something like this. As in, this is like part of the front, a short V, and then we'd have another one like basically that goes down here and out here, and then just kind of so that this essentially becomes the front of it, like like a bodice style, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. You can crochet left or right. Yes, I can crochet left or right-handed. I can do fewer styles with my left hand. I'm really limited to just knife grip, although I'm practicing pen grip. because I believe it's good to actually, I believe it's like, it's important if you're going to teach crochet that you should learn as many styles as possible. With my right hand, I'm far more consistent, and I can do far many more styles. Like with my right hand, I can do English throwing style and several variations of that. I can do pen grip, I can do knife grip, and then variations of that. I can also crochet with one hand, or either. Well, I can crochet one-handed with either hand. It's like I'm very interested in crochet for someone who may not be fully abled, or may have mobility issues, or just basically has issues with their hands. And if you have issues with your hands, you still should be able to do crafts, and someone should have like, I think it's important to have a solution. If someone just says, look, I've got arthritis in my left hand, do you know how to do it so that I can spare the movement of like my left hand, for example? And if someone asks me that, yes, I can absolutely do that. I know how to adjust for that kind of thing. I'm a lefty but learned right-handed. My grandmother was impatient. Oh yeah, I know. Like, look, I'm actually left-handed as well. Well, I mean, I'm technically left-handed because I write with. Or, I mean, I was writing when I was young anyway with my left hand, but I can write with my right hand as well. It just looks like a kid's writing because I don't practice it. Because one thing they don't tell you about being ambidextrous is that it's not that if you actually want to write with both hands, you do actually need to practice with both hands. And I don't. I barely practice with my left at this point. I type a lot. I can touch type. I don't really write much. Everything is fucking scribbles at this point. So yeah, a little bit of weird knowledge there for you. I mean, just don't get me wrong. Like, this was definitely weird when I started doing it, because I was taught by my godmother and my grandmother, and they taught me English throwing style with my right. I didn't actually realize there were any other styles of doing crochet until I started reading stuff. Basically last year, when I kind of got back into this, I was doing it for years, but I thought the only way of doing crochet was just the English throwing style that my grandmother taught me, and that was before the internet existed, because I am an old, obviously. But as soon as I figured out there were different styles, I just thought, that's incredible. I want to learn all of them. And then it just like I picked up continental style, and then I was initially using pen grip, and then changed to knife grip because it's a little bit quicker, and I found it a little bit more comfortable. And then I just started exploring, like, well, how many other different methods are there? And then found that there's almost like, there's no consistent terminology or names for basically any of this. And it's all a bit kind of like airy-fairy, or any kind of way you feel like, really, anything that works for you. And everyone's got their different way of doing it. And basically the only wrong way to do it is not doing it at all. And yeah, a lot of people I've noticed who are left-handed actually would have learned right-handed and have no issues doing it now. But there's a couple of people who, like, they just can't do it because they're specifically left-handed. It's like, not fair, When I learned to crochet, there wasn't any left patterns that I knew of, so it made sense at the time to just keep doing it the way I learned. Yeah, I know, right? Like, that is the worst thing about trying to figure this out, is that, like, you could be an excellent crocheter, but if you do it left-handed, then you're stuck, because everything you do will be mirrored, and you have to try and adjust on the fly for that. And that's a lot to put on someone who may just be learning, I can definitely understand why a lot of people just, if they're left-handed, they do just stick to the right-handed patterns. Because, like, as it is right now, I am working with my left hand, okay? I can't switch to right-handed crochet with this, because it would be like, how do I describe it? It would be like trying to drive a car in reverse. Like, that's not how you do that, okay? If you actually want to drive a car, you have to turn the car around, and you can't turn this around. Like, it only really goes one direction. If I was going with my right, I would have to be going the opposite direction. And I'm not. I'm going with my left. The only real way you can switch between left and right is if you actually get to the end of the row. And at that point, you can then swap. But if you're doing in the middle of the row, then it's ridiculous. It just don't work. It just doesn't work at all. Because right assumes that, like, you're going from right to left. And changing direction here would mean that, like, instead of continuing here, I would be going right to left across the back here. It just... Now, Cypher, maybe you might ask, Cypher, how do you know that? Because I tried it, dear reader. I tried my best when I was first picking up different styles. When I was first learning to crochet with my left hand, I thought, what? Because I had been doing some weird stuff, and I was like, can I crochet backwards? Because this is the kind of thing that strikes you when you've had too much coffee and it's 5 a.m. and you're already hipped up on painkillers. So, you know, your mind just goes to weird places at that point. And, you know, I just figured, you know, like, I'm just going to have a go and see if I can actually pull it off. Because stranger things have happened. Maybe I can logic my way through this. Long story short, could not make it work. And I did try my very best. Like, it's functionally very, very difficult to crochet backwards. Like the stitches are constructed in a particular way that just does not lend itself to trying to construct stitches essentially going backwards. Like, it just doesn't work. It's like the way the yarn effectively comes out in the back and then moving in, like, I'm not explaining this very well. Look, you're just going to have to trust me, okay? You're just going to have to trust me, all right? I do crochet a lot. I'm really good at this. I've tried all kinds of mad stuff, okay? And I found it fucking impossible. If you do figure out a way to crochet backwards consistently, please show it to me so that I can do it as well, because I think that would be nuts. And I am all about doing terrible things with crochet stitches that should really never be done by anyone in their proper frame of mind. But I will take as a challenge to have a go at, just to see if I can. Yeah, wouldn't even be the strangest thing I've tried. Because there was the drilling project. That was fun. Okay, you know, spoilers and all that. I decided that, you know what would be fun is if I got a bunch of wooden bowls or whatever from the thrift store, drilled holes through them and then crocheted through the rims. As in essentially crocheted, like, I got my hammer drill out, okay? Oh, Shannon, right? Yeah, go on. Just ignore me. It's fine. Go. Good night. Have a good night. Sleep well, etc., etc. Anyway, went to a thrift store, but don't fall over. Went to a thrift store, bought a bunch of wooden bowls. Decided that I was going to drill straight through the rims, and I did. It just all around the rim of the bowl, with my handy dandy hammer drill and my lovely bit set of my drill bit set, which was a birthday present from my beloved husband. And I just said, you know, it's going to be interesting. And I managed to drill the hole width, I think, correctly. And I just started crocheting through them because I thought, look, you know, I can crochet onto just about anything. Like, why not a wooden bowl? And I thought, I'm going to make that the base of like a bag or something, or see if I can do a design or whatever, or maybe some other random stuff. I don't know. Experimentation is the birth of new and weird ideas, you know? It's where you essentially commit to your terrible, terrible decisions and follow them to their awful conclusion in the hope that serendipity will vomit up something worth saving. And lo and behold, this time it kind of almost seemed to work. And if you... Will I do the socials thing again? I don't know. Hang on. Let's try this. Right. Socials. Boom. There we go. So, if you look at my Instagram there, you will see a picture of the... Oh, hey Topher, how's it going? How's your temperature blanket coming along? I hope it's good. I saw that in your stream earlier, and I was trying to scramble and get rid of some stuff ready and trying to get the kids to bed, and I was like, shit, I can't get in. Oh, hey, Farmer, you lurk so much. It's so weird seeing you there. Hello, anyway. Yeah, no, oh God, just... This thing was just like, I was just like, yeah, let's just commit to our terrible decisions and just like see where we end up. And what I ended up with was like the poll that you see on my Instagram. And it does kind of work. And this thing, okay, was just like, it's like half of a coconut, I think. I was like, it's just, maybe it'll shatter or something when I drill through it. But no, it held together pretty well. The inside of it is lacquered. And the lacquer, I'll say, did not hold up at all. So I may have to try and fix that before I do anything with it or even sell it or whatever. I don't really know. It looks kind of rubbishy right now. But I'm sure with a little bit of Sharpie I'll be able to clean, or, you know, some kind of paint or something, I'll be able to clean it up. It's all just like plain black lacquer. Oh well. Them's the breaks. You got to break some eggs. You got to make some sacrifices when you're trying to do mad shit that no one's tried before. Well, no, I don't say that. I'm pretty sure somebody's tried to do this before because it seems like a really obvious thing to do. Anyway, long story short, I managed to get the crochet onto the bowl working, and then frogged it like 6 times because I couldn't quite get the stitch I wanted to work. And then finally said fuck it and landed on the shell stitch and just started working that around the edge. And it was kind of like, I think I can live with this. I think this is kind of like okay. It's going to be kind of interesting. I don't know exactly how it's going to end up, but you know what? We're going to have fun on the journey. And that is really the absolute most important thing you can do. If you're going to do silly shit, you might as well enjoy yourself along the way. Or happy accidents, I still think about Bob Ross, and I'm just like, he had the right idea, happy accidents. And the act of creating art, weird as it is something that the human race has been doing for millennia. So clearly it must have something good in it if people are just essentially doing it effectively 24/7, like when they have nothing else to do. When they were even back getting eaten by cave bears or something like that, they still went and made art because that is how deep it is in our collective psyche. Where am I? There we go. Come on. This yarn, by the way, it's tightly plied but also kind of splitty, and it does not like me. I love how it works up because it's very beautifully shiny, and it's like a bamboo acrylic blend, I believe, something kind of interesting from Bernat. It's like a crossover with Pantone or some silliness, but like just beautiful colors and beautiful texture. Just maybe not so enthusiastic about being worked up. It's got a little bit of prima donna going, like it knows that eventually it's going to be beautiful, and it thinks it can give me shit on the way there. Oh, I finished it. Fantasy, yeah, apparently my stream is the meeting place for some people. Who knows? Finished most of my work, so here I am. Of course, I hope you're enjoying yourself, all right? It is a Sunday night. I know tomorrow is Monday, and I know there's going to be a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth, as there always is on Monday morning. So I hope tonight there is rest for everybody. Did you watch the Bob Ross documentary? I haven't seen it, but that's like, I haven't seen much of anything for a solid 2 weeks, because all I've been doing is helping my friend move all of her stuff. And that and crochet, because I'd literally sit down and crochet and watch Twitch and crochet some more and generally do nothing other than sit on my ass, watch crochet. Actually, no, I worked in my garden. I call it a garden. It's basically a patch that's 6 feet by 10 feet at best. And it was overrun with strawberries, who I swear have it in for me at this point. Oh, come on, yeah, fucking, come on, just work with me a little bit, Just be nice. Be nice just a little bit. You're gonna be beautiful at the end of this, I promise. Just give me 2 seconds and we'll both get there together and it'll be fine. His partners weren't very good to his family. Oh God. Yeah, I heard that, which really sucks. Bob Ross himself was just the most, a beautiful and precious soul who was taken before his time, and who cared nothing more than just to spread peace and happiness. Everything about his shows are just happiness and calm, and it's everything that we need in the face of the pandemic. And apparently his partner's dickheads. I would love to have one of his paintings. That's basically it. I have 2 skeins that I haven't tried to work with yet. Oh yeah, I gotta go and dig out the actual, the thingy. It's some kind of Bernat and Pantone crossover, the bamboo thing. And look, I gotta say, it is definitely lovely. Can recommend. It's got a lot of shine to it. It's lovely. It's silky, and it is reasonably tightly plied, I am, however, working at it with a very small hook, because that is just how I roll. You will probably have a different experience for me. I think it would probably benefit from being worked with a bigger hook. I have, where is it? This is a 3.5 millimeter hook. You're probably going to want to use something bigger than that. Knitting needles especially, use bigger knitting needles. Use use a 4 or 5 millimeter. I can't remember. Damn it. I don't do well with US sizes. What is this again? E. There you go. An E/4. And this is 3.5 millimeter. Okay. Just get a 4 to 4.5 to 5 millimeter. Okay. I don't know. Just use bigger needles than this. Just use whatever it says in the packet. I can't remember what it said. I just kind of went off half-cocked when I was looking at this. Now that I've done like this chunk of it, I'm basically committed. So like, we're just like, again, you make your terrible decisions, you stick with it, and then you continue and see where it ends up. And if it takes you right off a fucking cliff, well, there you go. You got your answer, honey. So we're just gonna keep going. It'll be like, and just hope the serendipity takes us someplace good. Who knows? We need you to teach them the throwing method. I don't know. Like, like he already does it. Topher, you already do English style, don't you? I think I remember seeing you do English throwing style for knitting. Like, I think if someone already knows how to knit and they know that style, I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'm going to teach you the same thing, except this is how you do it for crochet. It's the easiest thing to learn. Yeah, you knit English. There you go. No, okay, so, all right. I don't have anything I can demonstrate which shit. Hold on. Let's just put that down for a sec. Where's that? All right, here we go. This is another random one that I was going to use with this after that done with that, but I'll show you for a second. I just wound this up today, so it's a bit tight. All right, here we go. Slip knot, as we do, and drop the yarn, because what the fuck are you like? Okay, when you're doing traditional style crochet, okay, you basically have the picking method. You start like this, and you are using the hook, grabbing and picking the yarn, and creating your chain like that. And this is like consistent for all the stitches as well, okay? Like you can just like, I'm just going to do a bit more. And once you actually get going, like you can do a few different styles. You can actually hold this hook steady and then just, flick it over the hook or whatever with this finger, which is sometimes what I do. I can kind of, do, yeah. So, hold on, I'll just do a bit more here. Okay. So that's like our basic chain that we did using that, all right? Very, very straightforward. Everybody's seen this. Everyone knows how to do that. Okay, well, we're going to go back a second, all right? You start from a slip knot, all right? And I'm going to show you 2 different ways you can do it with the other side, all right? English throwing style for crochet specifically, okay? And this is what I would have learned when I was 8 years old from my mother, from my grandmother and my godmother, okay? I learned how to crochet this way originally. And what you do is, you tension up here, and you throw with this finger, and you hold the hook like a pen, like this. And you essentially have grabbed the hook here. Like the fast throwing method looks a bit like this. You hold it with this hand, you hold the stitch right here so that it slides up and down. And then you throw. You essentially slide forward and throw over the hook. And pull. And slide and throw over the hook. And this, again, this is fast throwing, all right? I can get up to like reasonably good speed with this. The thing about English throwing style is that it's pretty precise in my experience. Like if I'm doing any kind of lace work, if I'm doing anything particularly tricky, then I will use this style rather than using traditional style, because I find that picking tends to, like the dexterity is a little bit more awkward, especially if you have to be very precise about where you place the hook. Okay, so I tend to swap to this and just kind of go with it. So when you're like this, same thing if you want to do, you throw around the hook. Like I just want to be clear, like this is fast throwing, you're tensioned at the back here, but you push the yarn using this here, like that. And you're literally like, I hinge forward and the hook moves a little bit, but it's hinging from being held here. So if I want to do doubles, I basically throw, then let's just go through the back loop, fuck it, I don't want to do the better one. And then just pick it and then pull. I'll do a few of these, fuck it, why not? But like this particular style or whatever, this is just like, I learned how to knit English style. And then when I was learning how to knit, like when I was learning basically how to how to knit, and I've been very young as well. What happened was like, my grandmother and my godmother were just like, okay, we're going to teach you how to crochet now. And I was like, what are you talking about? What's crochet? And then they just said, they demonstrated it, but they would have learned this method as well, as far as I know. And the only other person I've heard of doing this is also an Irish knitter, or is also an Irish crocheter, which is interesting. I was kind of, maybe it's a particular style which is generally used if someone already knows how to knit. It's very strange, but I've really only heard of like Irish people doing. Yeah. So here's what we've got. There's our doubles. Okay. Now that's fast throwing. If you're just doing simplified throwing, which is something that I do actually teach as well, if fast throwing is a little bit too complicated, I do simplified throwing because that is the least like mentally intensive, effectively, version of this style. You start here, okay? Start here, and I only have this tension here. I'm not doing anything else with it. I'm just kind of holding that and then holding the hook, okay? And then throw in the next space there, throw, pull, throw, pull, throw, and pull, and there you go. And it's like basically exactly like English throwing style, where you drop the needle and do the throw, okay? That's like, and that's basically it. Like it's exactly the same, or almost exactly the same as doing English throwing style. Like for knitting, it just works, there you go. And like, I don't know how many people just don't know this exists. Like, you can absolutely do crochet like this. I've done this for years like this. I was under the assumption that this was how you did crochet, because that's how I learned. Anyway, that's how that works. All right. Just going to get rid of that and wind that back up, because I'm probably going to use that yarn in 2 seconds to finish, like to do more of this. There we go. Put that in there. And let us continue with what we're doing here. For the record, I can't actually do English throwing style with my left hand yet. I have been practicing. It's just the dexterity involved is fairly tricky if I'm doing the fast throw. And I really want to learn the fast throw as opposed to doing the simplified throw. Like, it's just because I kind of feel it's something that could be useful to know. It's going to be very obscure, but if I can do it with my right, I want to be able to do it with my left as well. And it's just going to be a matter of practice. I was looking for a bigger crochet hook for blanket yarn. I was making January, found some knitting needles I forgot about, and there was a Tunisian crochet hook with them. Yeah, I know, right? I was looking at some Tunisian crochet, and although I appreciate that it looks really awesome, it's like I prefer just basic crochet because it's a bit too much like knitting, and I already know how to knit. I don't know. I think maybe I should try it. Like, I'd try it again. It's like I did it once and I was just like, yeah, well, I don't really care. It's cool. It's interesting. It's not my thing. It's gonna be like amigurumi. I could do amigurumi. Like, I can do almost anything with crochet, but like amigurumi are just like, I'm not hugely interested in doing them. There's so many other cool projects I've got in mind. I just don't do a lot of toys unless I get a specific commission for them. Like, because I got a commission from a friend who wanted them for her kids. But I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, and then that was a once-off thing. I'll do amigurumi for you. But like, otherwise, just it's cool. That's about it. Thanks for showing. Yeah, no worries. Look, if you really want to try it, like, just ask me to show it to you again. I'll go through it again. I've been trying to develop like a curriculum, like a straightforward curriculum of like step by step. Here, here is like a like with like lessons one after the other, and homework, and like how to learn crochet, what you should have accomplished at the end of each lesson, the kind of things that you're learning, that kind of thing. Like, there is not a whole lot of information that I can find anyway about, like, specifically I would say for teaching adults and for teaching and adjusting for mobility issues and that kind of thing. The Craft Yarn Council has some stuff, and I found it to be like, it's a good starting point but rather inadequate. So I may just need to build my own fucking curriculum and put it up on my website or something, which is going to be like a massive undertaking. But I'm still going to try. I mean, I've committed to this now, like becoming a teacher. We shall have to see. I learned crochet from grandmother, bad habits, and all. I've no idea how to knit. It's not actually that hard. Like, I learned knitting English style when I was about 8 or 9 in school. It was just part of like primary school learning for me. I was just like, well, I mean, that was Ireland in the 80s. What are you going to do? It's not as hard as as it would look. You know, it's not as hard as it seems. There's a bit of dexterity involved, and the hardest part in my experience is just getting the tension consistent. And frankly, I think the way that they do pearls is just asinine, especially for continental. But yeah, I just learned a couple of years ago, tried English style. Yeah, I know, right? I actually do. I can do. Oh, I can do continental style knitting. I can do English style knitting. Um, I can do. I can do the Russian combination knitting, and I prefer to do that because I think, like, I think the way the continental style does pearls is absolute horseshit, and it makes things so fucking difficult. I'm like, you should have just, you like, it's a common style, I understand it, and it's like everyone does it like that now, but I don't think it's a good idea. It's just like, it's annoying, but that's neither here nor there. I don't think it's like not something that can be changed at this point, and I just kind of do my own thing when it comes to knitting. I don't think I would be willing to teach knitting. I can follow patterns and everything like that. I don't have the same interest or the same aptitude for it as I do for crochet. I don't like the tension there. I'm going to redo that. That is not working for me. Like, to be honest, I don't think you can have bad habits with crochet. The only wrong way to do crochet is to not do it at all, you know. That's it. You don't need, like, everything else, just, you don't need to stress about it. Like, the worst thing you can do is just not do it, you know. If you do it, there's no wrong way to do it. Because the truth is that almost everything that you can do in crochet, even if it seems like it's not the correct thing to do at this particular time, will be the correct thing to do in some other context. There'll be some other technique that will use it, or will change things up and that will look similar to that. Like, and it's really just a matter of, like, your intention at the time. It's like if you intended to do, say, a double crochet and accidentally did a half double, for example. Well, I mean, that's about intention. That's not to say that executing a half double is wrong. It's just not what you want to do at that particular time. And you got to kind of get past the idea of making mistakes. Because as our Lord and Savior Bob Ross likes to say, there are no mistakes. There's just happy accidents. And serendipity and all that other good stuff. But I found that doing crochet is remarkably good for my mental health because it's basically low stakes, you know. It's like there's just the yarn in front of you and just putting stitch on top of stitch, and like there's nothing saying that you have to do anything in particular. You can just kind of do your own thing. You can follow a pattern if you want something specific, but you don't have to. You can literally just pick up a hook and some yarn and start working, say, in the round and start making, I don't know, a granny square or something. Or you can just start making something long and just like saying, you know what, let's just see how much of a blanket I can make. Or I'm just going to get some chunky yarn and make something that I can knock out in an afternoon that could charitably be called a hat at a distance. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be good, it just has to be something that you made with your own hands, that you did for your own sake. In the sure and certain knowledge that if you made 50 of them, the 50th one would probably be pretty good. Much better attitude to have. Crochet is a lot more forgiving than knitting since you only have one active stitch. Yes, that is in fact true. Like, knitting, I would say, is if you're actually going to do clothing, you should be learning knitting. Because the drape that you can get from knitting is far superior to that of what you can get from crochet. Crochet, because it's by its nature, it's a certain number of knots. It has less stretch in almost every direction, you know, and it becomes very tricky to kind of get that right. It's like it stretches between rows, but it doesn't stretch really across columns, not in the same way. Now, I mean, that said, crochet, as by its nature, can produce far more complex items and definitely is far more efficient when it comes to creating 3D things. But if you actually just want like essentially flat fabric, knitting is where you want to be for that. For lace, I definitely think crochet is superior, but that's more kind of a personal preference. I think like knitted lace is very pretty and the patterns can be very beautiful for it. But like if you want to do free form, crochet is absolutely what you need for that. You can't pull that kind of stuff off very well with knitting anyway. I don't know. That's mostly just me talking from experience because I have done both and I've done lace with both. even though I've had to adjust the pattern because I do combination knitting instead. Occasionally so, but I have some mobility issues, and every time the weather changes it makes me hurt, so I'm mostly crocheting for now because I sit in the bed on the couch. Oh god, yeah, I know. I feel for you, man. I do. Like, I've had issues with my shoulder and my back for going on 6 months. And that's on top of the fact that my brain is basically fried out as well because I did tech and that turned out to be a really bad idea. But like, I'm wondering, is it because the weather changes? Is that the reason why I'm feeling like shit lately? Or because I've been moving stuff or whatever? But anyway, the reason that I was hopped up on really big pain, up at 5 a.m., blitzed off my face on painkillers and coffee, is basically because like my back is fucked up on my left side. It's, yeah. Cannot recommend. But it was my own fault, in fairness. I didn't actually do anything, like, I didn't fall or anything. I just did martial arts for years and fucked something up in my shoulder. Probably lifting weights. I don't know. I don't regret it, for what it's worth. I kind of think that it was a good endeavour anyway. I'd learned a lot of stuff about martial arts, which I think is kind of nice. And I also learned how to hit people real good, because I was doing boxing and wrestling for a while. Fun times. Cindy has already made 300 granny squares this year. She donates them to charity that sells them into blankets. Oh, I've heard about that. I was thinking that if I was going to do lessons or whatever like that, I should definitely include a link to them and just say, okay, if you want to, like, here's part of your lesson plan. Make something for this charity and send it off to them. And, that's essentially your homework. I've heard about those guys doing great work there. Crochet blankets are... They're just something that's but something that has been handmade by a lot of people is really nice. I think it's nice for people. My grandmother made lots of different crochet stuff. Her doilies are really nice. Never to get the hang of working with something that thin. Someone that I'm not sure you meant to say that, Bob. Oh god, I actually went away and tried micro crochet. Okay, I took my smallest hook and a single cotton thread, and I had a go at making a flower, okay? And what I will say is that, like, I have really small hands. In case anyone wonders, like, whether how big stuff is, it looks bigger than it actually is because my hands are fucking tiny, okay? I'm not kidding. Like, my hands look big because of the camera, but no, teeny tiny little hands, little baby hands, in fact. Anyway, like. It was like, I found it fucking impossible to do micro crochet. It was so fucking hard. It was brutally tricky. I'm not even kidding. It was incredibly tricky. Like, it was not the fact that I couldn't, like, for one thing, okay, it was difficult to see, okay? And I had to take off my glasses for some of it because, like, you're definitely, like, you're working at very, very small stitches to begin with. Like, but the other problem was that it was very hard to even hold it because it's a single cotton thread. Holy crap. It's just... I don't think I'd want to do it again. I was not enjoying it, And again, that's a single cotton thread. That's like unreal. I think the only way I'm going to go back to something like that is if I really commit to doing a limerick lace project. And at that point I will have to make something that small. But that will be like something that's crocheted with single threads onto like a machine-made netting backing or whatever. It's not going to be trying to do stuff freehand as is with the hook. Christ. Just, no, cannot recommend. Don't do it. Just save yourself. Or work with something bigger. Oh my god. I think that was it was a number 13 hook, I think, in US sizes. The thing was tiny little look. Granny squares frustrate me. I do pretty good with keeping a good tension, but they never really square. I know, right? That is therein lies the trick, okay? And I noticed this because I've done probably 1 million of them at this point, and I've done a lot of granny squares. Like, I think that you have to adjust granny squares for your own tension, and then just kind of eyeball trying to get them to be completely square. Now, the other thing as well is that for granny squares, you will never get them completely square. They tend to stretch to the corners regardless of what you do, okay? That's why everybody seems to make them very small. You just really can't get away from it. And I noticed it a lot when doing larger granny square, like, pieces. If you wanted to do a blanket with granny squares and you were just doing one single large granny square where you just kind of grew it, with every row kind of thing, it generally will not stay square. It will stretch to the corners regardless. And that's a pain in the ass. It's just something to do with the yarn itself, or the nature of the stitch. It'll just stretch in that direction. That, I think, was the reason I stopped doing my first granny square blanket, because that was just frustrating me far too much. So Bob, if you actually want to try that again, try doing smaller ones and stick to something like a 5x5. So it's like five rounds, you know, 5 rounds, 5 clusters on each side, kind of thing. 5x5, if I remember that right. Yeah. I'm fascinated by people. Oh God, where am I? I'm missing chat. I tried micro knitting, burn the result in fire. Good. Good. You get something that's definitely a disaster, like something that cannot be redeemed. The best thing you can do is sacrifice it to the gods in fire and let its soul be delivered back to the great yarn in the sky, where it can be reborn, hopefully as some merino. Superwash merino, you know, something cool. You never know. Did the stitch. That's what I get for beginning the suggested words. Yeah, it's fine, man. Don't worry about it. I'm fascinated by seeing actually crochet with thread, like sewing thread. Dude, I don't know if you can actually... if I was going to do that on stream, I would literally have to get, like, I don't know, I would have to magnify the camera or just zoom in or something like that. And God knows how I'm going to stay in frame doing it. Like, it just was not fun. I was like, do people do this with, like, magnifying glasses or something? And it must still be really tricky. I can't imagine, like, you need tweezers or something. It's incredible. And I'm like, how? Are you really enjoying this? I can't imagine that you are. I'm kind of scared to ask, if you know what I mean. Oh, bugger, what I think of it. It's, the thing with the event. Do the thing. Come on, Stream Elements. Are you not going to work for me? Fuck you. Oh, wait, hey, there we go. Okay. So, I keep forgetting about this, but it's, you know, it's finally here, so we're going to try and, you know, do the promo thing anyway. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. PST, I'm going to be part of the Easter Raid Train. It's being put on by 99 Pickle Puss. It's basically where a whole bunch of crafters will get together and do a raid train, and we're going to jump from stream to stream, and it's going to be super fucking fun. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be crocheting a bag in the shape of an Easter egg. And also, I have a scavenger hunt prepared for you guys using Stream Elements command. Just you got to trust me, okay? It is going to be fun. You guys are going to use commands to explore the house of the Easter Bunny and find the Easter eggs that they've left for you. And I am going to have a lot of work to do tomorrow morning to get everything programmed in on time, but I have all of it written out. And I'm really hoping that the riddles to find the eggs are not going to be too hard or anything for you guys. And I think it's going to be lots of fun. I'll be on stream for 2 hours between 1 and 3 PST. I would very, very much like it if you could show up and come and hang out and try and do the scavenger hunt and make me not seem like a crazy person. And the only thing about the stream is this. It's going to basically be me, except that it is going to be... I will not be swearing because this is a family-friendly event, and I've been told that I'm not allowed to. So I'm just like, okay, I signed up for this, so there will be no swearing. I will be making sure to not swear, and I think that's it. That's the only difference. But anyway, look, it's gonna be fucking cool. And there I go and swear because I completely forget. It's going to be lovely and it'll be a fun thing to do, and you should all show up. It'll be great. Just come and hang out with me and see all the streamers, the raid train stuff, and say hi to Picklepuss and everyone. Yeah. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be like Easter stuff, and I'll be doing an Easter egg bag. All right. What I'm gonna be doing is I'll do the base ahead of time in pink wool. And I'll have a bunch, or maybe pink cotton, I think. I have some pretty cute pink cotton. And what I will do is I'll give you guys the option of choosing what colour I'll do the banded stripes for in the middle. And, I'll see what kind of, like, interesting, like, stitches I can do as well, which would be just kind of cute. And I'm sure it'll come out looking really nice. I get lost in TikTok occasionally, came across a lady making clothing with granny squares, but uses embroidery floss. I think I know the lady you're talking about. I also think she's a nuts. A friend of mine I was talking about crochet with, and she mentioned that there was this woman who makes like granny squares out of embroidery floss, and I was just like, that is a major flex. And also that seems like a person who's entirely out of their minds, because that's such a phenomenal amount of work. And I'm not even sure if she even sells her stuff. Like hours of work. Oh my God. How difficult is that going to be, not swearing? I don't know. I may have to just try and imagine that my mother is on stream, because she gets incredibly unhappy when I swear too much or at all in front of her. She just says, "You're supposed to be a lady. Ladies don't swear." And my usual response to that is, "Mom, I have never once claimed to be a lady, and I'm not at the start now." But she just, oh, thanks. Thanks very much, Quaid. I don't like you. That's my husband, by the way. Big fist. When I get through the whole stream without swearing or anything, you are going to owe me an apology. Just saying. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm going to get to the end of... Yeah, it's just a bit tentative. I'm going to get to the end of this yarn, and then we're going to call it a night, because... Oh, God. I should probably go and get some sleep being up at 5 a.m. Something like that. Might give me a chance to see if I can practice some more. Where am I? I mean, I gotta say, I'm not doing too bad with my left hand now. I'm kind of getting up to speed a little bit. Still not great about picking the correct stitch for the anchor there, but it's improving a little bit. I like to think, you know, we're moving on. You know, we're getting there. We're doing the things, and I possibly have cocked that up. Yes, in fact, I did. Reverse. There we go. We need to, in fact, go back to that stitch instead. Put it in the wrong place. This is what I mean. You get distracted and suddenly you're putting your stitches in entirely the wrong place. And you just got to go back and rewind and just like, oh, okay. Your intention wasn't good. Like you had the intention of doing it a particular way, and you ended up popping it into some place where the intention didn't match. And just like, oh, okay, well, that's not really a mistake, but you know, you're going to have to go and fix that. Just make sure that at least what you intend to do is what actually shows up here. That's the important thing. Now, hopefully next week, I'm going to have my friend Wild Nomad on the stream as well. We're still trying to work out the logistics of that, but it's going to be really fun to have her around, because she is a guru of knitting and of yarn. Like I bought a whole bunch of roving, okay, which is the stuff that is like proto yarn. Actually, do I even have it here? Oh, I do. There we go. Check this out. From ye olde Value Village for $10, okay? This stuff. This is super, super, super soft. It is super soft and grey, and it's lovely. And it's already got leaves on it. Oh my god. No, it's wool, and it's already been like washed and carded and all this kind of stuff. It's super nice, and it's incredibly soft. And I basically showed it to Wild Nomad and said, "Look, is this good?" And she basically looks at it and said, "Well, it's not this breed of sheep, and it's not this breed of sheep, and it's not merino, but I think it's still fairly good wood. You know, this is a good buy." And I was just like, that you know that off the top of your head and can recognize that blows my mind. But that is her deal. You literally hand her a piece of wool, and she pulls out some strands, looks at it for 2 seconds, and it tells you the sheep that it came from. Yep. She is special. And I want to get her on stream because she does a lot of knitting, lace, and other kind of stuff like that. And she's had worked in yarn shops and has had actual proper tuition in the fibre arts, as opposed to me, who's just kind of half-assing it. So you can work on that and never turn it, just switch to the right hand. Once I get to the end, yeah, technically I could. Once I get to here, okay, I could chain up, and then instead of basically turning it over, I could just start with my right hand and go back on the same side. And there you go. I'm not going to, though. This is my left-handed blanket. And I'll tell you what, before I go, I'll give you guys the option. We have a few different options for yarn for the next colour that I use on this. And I've also got this kind of dark blue. And what I was thinking of doing was working all the other colours that I've got and then putting more of this dark grey in. But I think this looks kind of nice. You know, I just like, so this is more of the Pantone burnout crossover bamboo, whatchamacallit, so it'll go well with this. So you have slightly kind of dark, like not like silvery grey, kind of bluey grey. This green, this looks a bit weird, but it is actually green. This looks a bit teal, but it is more green. What color is the bottom corner? That's this grey. It's the same as that. I was going to do all the others and then this. That is a more bluey grey. Bluey dark grey, bluey light grey. Greeny, whatever. Bright blue. Can I do a poll? How do I do the / poll? Oh, here we go, yes. Open the setup menu to create a poll. Here we go. How do I do the thing? There you, okay, hold on. Question. What color next? Responses. Dark grey. I can't spell. I really can't spell. Bright blue. Bright green. Grey. Why did you give me? You're not giving me any more. Just fuck you. Okay. Navy blue. So this is the dark navy blue. This is the bright blue. This is the light green. This is the bluey light grey. And this is the silver light grey. Silver light grey. And I'm not including this because I'm going to do this one last. So duration, I don't know, like I don't know, how long does it take? Like 2 minutes? I don't care. Hey, okay. Does that work? Whoo! There we go. Such a dark grey to me doesn't look grey. I thought it was black first, but then, oh yeah, no, look. Don't worry about this one. It's going to be one of these 5, okay? One of these 5. I know Quadrain was asking about this one, which I think would probably go nice here. So like this one, and then the bluey one, and then that one. But I'm kind of like, I want to put these in somewhere before I do that, and I don't know where to put those in next. So, I don't know. Whatever. Vote in the poll. If nobody votes, then I'm just going to pick a colour at random. We have 1 vote for bright blue, and only 1 person cares. We may be doing the dark blue yet. Might be bright blue. Why not? Like, it's going to be fun. It's going to be nice. It's going to be really interesting. We're just kind of like maybe that, and then the light one there. The thing is that if I do this, it's going to make it, because obviously this grows in that direction. Like the smaller ones should probably be done earlier, else you're only going to get a little bit of a line, if that makes sense. It's like you're going to get half a line, because like this is going to be so wide at that point that you're not going to get like a complete band. There's just not enough yarn there to do it. And it doesn't really matter. It's just more for effect than anything else. I personally think they're going to look pretty fucking cool anyway. But some people maybe care about that. I don't know. Yeah, that's good. Oh, for God's sake, you've got 1 vote for bright blue, 1 vote for light green, and one vote for bluey light grey. Can you guys not agree on anything? I'm just going to pick shit at random here. I may have to pick shit at random. Unless there's like a tiebreaker, I'm just going to pick shit at random. I'm just going to pick one of those 3 at random. I'm just going to like flip a coin. But no, I don't actually have any coins. Do I have? I don't have coins. Did I bring you? Oh, no, here we go. Oh, here we go. I can actually have my dice. Woo! Bluey light. Oh wait, no, here we go. It ended. Bluey light grey. All right, we're not using the dice. It's fine. Bluey light grey. Bluey light grey. This one. All right. Here's where it's at. That one. These go away. We'll shove those back in the bag, and we'll attack them some other time. Wound all these up a while ago because I was just tired of staring at them and their tiny little windy up balls. Someone who wound these up wound them into these super tight balls, which I thought looked incredibly uncomfortable. It looks like an off-white. Well, I mean, technically it is, I guess. Also, the camera doesn't really help because this is my iPhone camera and color correction is apparently an advanced art of which we know nothing. Sorry. I understand that this is something that you can do, but I think everyone can recognize by now that I am very low tech and I know not how to do things. And I mean, I can't even get music working on my stream, for God's sake. No, I've cocked that up. No, I'm kidding. It's mostly from lack of trying. Am I kidding? Like I don't have the time to figure out how to make the music go, so I just generally don't. Just like, okay, we're just going to be one of those streams that just doesn't have music. You're basically going to listen to me talking for 2 solid hours, and I'm somehow going to have to find a way to be interesting for 2 solid hours. I don't know if I always succeed at that, but I figure that, you know, if terrible stories about really pathetic yard sales or, you know, car boot sales, whatever you want to call them, isn't enough to entertain people, then, like, you know, it's okay. There's plenty of other Elden Ring content that you can watch on Twitch, and I understand that Elden Ring is a fabulous game, and everybody plays it because it's just that cool, you know. Oh, I'm really buggering this up now. Hey, come on, there we go. And now we have to try to weave that end in a way that doesn't look rubbishy. Come on. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna make shit up. I'm just like, stay there. You just stay in one place so that I can fucking well catch you when I actually do the wrap. Ugh. See, I need to be there so that when I actually do the double crochets, it sits inside of them. And if it keeps fucking moving around, it's not going to do that, and it'll be a pain in the butt. Discovered that my son has it. Colorblind is, yeah, I know, it is weird. It's more common in men, isn't it? If I understand it correctly. All right. You know, this is not going to be perfect. This is effectively going to be a really crappy looking weave-in, but the important thing is that it's going to be done and we'll fix it later in post. It's like, it's fine. We're good. All right. Switch it. Turn over. No 2 colorblind people see colors exactly the same way. Yeah, there we go. So now trying to figure out what the colors look like to him. Oh, I don't know. I keep hearing about, like, just, it's mostly red-green color blindness or something. Cannot remember. And it's like the colors look less vibrant or something. I don't know personally. I heard that there's those glasses that can make things like, that can fix like colors or something, which I think is super interesting. I want to know what that looks like. It's like, what's that change looks like? Because apparently it's staggering. It's like a complete, you know, a game changer. It's like changes somebody's life to suddenly be able to see color, which is incredible. Oh, come on. Don't bugger up the stitches. Yeah. Oh, even after 37 years, my wife forgets and describes something with colour and I just give her really... He's got probably protein less green, more red. Yeah, that's what I heard. It's like it's super common for guys. What can you do? Maybe those glasses will fix that kind of thing. I don't really know. And it's like this just, all reds look kind of more brown or kind of muddy. I'm not sure. I found it a funny way. If we only had basic colours, it'd probably be okay. It's when you get to shades that it messes you up. Depending on the shade, red, green, brown, all look the same. Yeah. Watching some YouTube videos of computer done marble race, there's literally a whole rainbow showing. He'd be calling purple blue and then misnaming a couple other colours. Yeah, I mean, like it wouldn't be unusual. Like it's still, I would have thought with kids anyway, you'd learn fairly early on that they'd be colourblind. I think, you know. Is that like a thing they do in school or whatever? They do colours. I don't know really. I am cocking this up righty. Yeah, this is going to be just messy. But you know what? This is not the kind of blanket that's going to be sold to anyone. This is eventually going to be on my bed. And possibly the back of the couch. I haven't decided yet. One of the big corner-to-corner blankets is going on the bed. The other one can go on the couch. And they're going to be there solely for me to wrap myself up into it when it's 5 a.m. and I decide to get up and have coffee and get shit-faced on painkillers. I think it's a perfect use for them. Come on. All right, we'll do a few more stitches just to lock this in. There. You found an online test around through it. Yeah, it's just you can use those little pictures with all the dots and everything. They tell you what kind of color blindness you got, just through the shades and everything. Interesting, huh? So unfortunately, the glasses only help a few people. I took the online test for those, and it was a maybe. Oh well, I mean, yeah, if it's hundreds of dollars that they cost, I mean, how could you trust that? Maybe someone can I don't know. I would love to see if they just test. Could they test people with those glasses? I don't know. And if they work for you, more power to you. Oh, come on. I'm buggering this up entirely. There we go. After a few questions, I lied to him and said that there wasn't always a number, so he didn't have to strain his eyes. Oh, that's terrible. Grover Scout, how old is your son? If you're watching Marvel stuff, he must be fairly young, I'm assuming. Because only, the very young kids are into that stuff. Well, I mean, I assume only the really young kids are into that. Oh, he's 10. Oh, wow. My son is 4, and he just decided, he decided that he was into the Marvel thing for about a week, and then just didn't care. And I just kind of associate that with being, for the really young kids, for kindergartens. I don't know. Sorry. Do apologize, didn't want to assume. I just kind of did. Oh, yeah. Yeah, go me. And then the nose kind of coming in. Yeah, so around $300 pair. You need one for indoors, one for outdoors, something with the UV light and how they filter. Oh, you nasty. Yeah, I've heard they are super expensive. That's a real shame. Many of the videos you see of someone whose friends bought him somewhere frequently set up. Really? Oh, that's terrible. That. I mean, I've seen the one of the guy whose wife bought him those glasses as a wedding present. She bought him and they gave it to him on their wedding day kind of thing. And I thought that was very cute. It hasn't really slowed him down, but now I just need to remember there's some colour confusion. Yeah, I know. When I was back in I think it was my first year in college or whatever, I dated a guy who was colourblind like that. Red and green, I think. And he said it just didn't really affect his life at all. He knew he was colourblind and he just kind of adjusted for it, So as long as he knows, he just works around it like anything else. All right, let's see where we are with this now in a second. Oh, come on. Maintaining tension with my left hand has always just been a bit of a bugbear because I can't quite get the same motion correct. Just a little bit tricky for whatever reason. Oh, come on. We're seeing many different colours of the ear. If you filter one colour, you also alter others. Yeah, okay. All right, so apparently I've lost the ability to crochet, because I'm just fucking this up sideways. I swear to God, tomorrow when I do the stream, I will not be swearing. I'm really concentrating on not swearing for that whole stream. I'm going to be really careful. I promise. I'm going to be so careful. All right. Keep an eye out for a stream tomorrow. Yeah, look, okay, listen, I'm going to be streaming tomorrow from 1 p.m. PST to 3 p.m. PST for the Easter Raid Train event, okay? Deadcrum, if you're not streaming at that time, I will absolutely keep an eye out for your stream. I'm going to be kind of bopping around the place because I have a bunch of stuff to set up in Stream Elements. But if I'm not doing anything, if I'm just waiting around, I'll come and say hi. Promise. I don't know what time zone you're in, unfortunately. If it's later on, yeah, we'll probably I'll definitely show up. It's just in the afternoon. Oh, you're in EST, okay. Are you going to be in the evening ish? Because when I'm streaming, I think it's going to be about 4 p.m. EST. I want to say. Yeah, 4 to 6. Yeah, I'll be streaming from 4 to 6. If you're in the evening or whatever else you can see, I'll be spotting you afterwards because I'll be raiding into the next channel of the Easter Raid Train event. And then after that, I'm going to go offline. Because, like, I'll probably have to deal with dinner and the kids at that point. Well, no, it'll be 3 p.m. for me, so I'll have a little chance to just kind of chill for a bit. Time zones are funny things, I'm telling you what. Ah, okay. All right, once again, tomorrow, when I'm doing the Easter event, it's going to be super cool because I'm going to be doing, I'll be doing an Easter egg crocheted bag. And it's going to be really neat. It's supposed to be a little pink bag, and I'm going to do the stripes and everything in the middle for the actual egg, and then just kind of shape it up, and it'll be the egg at the top. And obviously, it's going to have the stripes and everything, and I'll have a bunch of colors, and I'll let you guys pick the colors. I'll also be doing a scavenger hunt using Stream Elements commands, where you guys can go and find Easter eggs. And more about that tomorrow. Show up if you want to come and do it. Again, 1 p.m. PST. Highly, highly, highly recommend. It's going to be lots and lots of fun. And the raid train itself is starting early. It's going to be, crap. It's like it's 9, 8, no, I think it's going from like the April 4th to April 6th. Yeah, anyway, I'll have more info on the time. I got to go and get the actual schedule. There's been a bunch of changes made. Anyway, let's go see who's online, who can we go raid. I'm getting tired. It's like, hang on, we'll see. Twitch TV. Following. Who have we got? Twitch. Who's live right now? Who can I go raid into? Snow's still on. Okay. We're gonna go raid Snow Peep. Fun times. Okay. All right, listen up. Good night to everybody. You're going to see me in Snow Peep stream for a little bit anyway. You're going to like Snow Peep. She's currently crocheting snail eyes. And I promise that's more interesting than it sounds. But she is awesome people. And Snow Peep. Is that going to work? I hope it is. No matches! Fuck you. Hold on. Is it at Snow Peep or just... Oh, I hate you. Come on, Snow Peep. Work. Yes! Oh my god. This is so tricky. Oh my god, it's so hard to just... It's so hard to just make that raid thing work every once in a while. Anyway, okay. I'm going to click the button. Thanks very much for coming and hanging out with me and all that. Say hi to Snow Peep and encourage her with her snail, because it's been kind of tricky with her getting that right. So tell her that her snail looks amazing. I absolutely want you guys to do this. Tell her snail looks great, okay? And she's doing amazing, because she totally is. All right. Good night.